So I'm Chandler, and I'm the neurosurgical specialist at Utah Valley Hospital. And I'm the team lead over the nurses and surgical techs there, where we do around 1,500 spine and neuro cases per year. The OR truly is a unique place to work in when it comes to the patient's trust in us as their care providers. They are either sedated or completely under general anesthesia when they're with us in the OR. They are counting on us to provide the best care possible for them, since they, quite honestly, are putting their lives in our hands. We are there to provide the best care possible for them and be their advocates, since they cannot advocate for themselves during surgery. Every time a patient comes into our operating rooms, we want them to have the safest experience possible. It is my job and my goal to make sure that this happens for everyone. As the nurse in the OR, we are the ones in charge. Many people may think it's the surgeons, but we're the ones there helping make sure everything runs smoothly and safely. As I start my day, there are many policies in place that help ensure me and my team can provide the best and safest care possible for each patient. I have to go through the pre-procedure checklist, check patients' imaging, check and initiate orders, prepare medications, ask check-in questions to the patients, and do a timeout with anesthesia and with the surgeon before the procedure starts, and so on and so forth. You get the picture that there is a menagerie of fail-safes I complete before I'm even an hour into my workday. This can be tedious and redundant at times, but in all reality, it's essential. I have to look at each of those tasks as checkpoints on my way to ensure that my patient has a safe experience and is well cared for. One huge way that we can make sure that patients are having the safest experience possible is by having a mentality that we have a common goal. We all must have safety in mind for our team and for our patients. From the moment a patient checks into the hospital to the time that they leave, they encounter many different caregivers along the way. Each and every one of these caregivers must be striving to do their best so that the patient can have a better outcome. The environment that we create in our workplace must be conducive for us to do this. There can't be a feeling of worry about repercussion if a mistake is made. There needs to be an environment where people feel safe to express concerns or mistakes, knowing it helps us be safer. We want to know what we can do to improve our processes so we can set goals to do better. Caregivers need to feel like if they express a problem and concern, it will help cause change and keep us and our patients safer. A great example of freely bringing up issues or concerns in the OR is our daily huddle with our sharing of a safety story. Every morning, we meet as a whole OR staff, and the first question asked is for someone to share a safety story. This gives a safe space for people to share things that go wrong so that we can all learn from them and come up with a plan to do better. A story that was shared recently with me was about one of our patients who had the wrong patient information in their chart. The OR nurse followed our standard check-in protocol and caught what could have been a very bad mistake. The well-being of our patients is our top priority, no matter what. We are all reminded of this, that the procedures and protocols are there for a reason. We sometimes may feel like what we are doing is going through the motions and checking boxes of things we are expected to do in our day-to-day jobs. In reality, the procedures we follow and boxes we check are vital for the safety of our patients and team. Nobody wants to be that caregiver who didn't follow a safety policy because it felt redundant and then led to patient harm. Another thing we do in the OR to promote safety is doing what we call a debrief at the end of a case. Now, as you can see, I took this quite literally one time and I haven't lived that down yet. But really, a real surgical debrief is where we go over the procedures, what we did, if we had any issues, make sure counts of all of our sharps and instruments are correct, how much blood loss the patient had, and the plan for the patient as they wake up from anesthesia. This moment gives us time to wrap up the case and ensure we did everything correctly and evaluate if there is anything we need to do to improve upon. It kind of puts an end cap at the patient's care so we can get ready to do our best on the next patient. I've had a few instances over my 4.5 years where during a debrief we catch that we are off count on our needles or sponges. We then go through the process of double checking and recounting until we can find the missing item. If we still cannot find it after that, then we move on to taking an x-ray of the patient. The image then is read by a radiologist who lets us know if anything was left in the patient. It would be a severe safety event if anything was left in them during surgery. Our surgical debriefs help mitigate the instances of this occurring. When I think about safety in the workplace, I think about being the first follower. I learned the first follower mindset about a year ago from a YouTube video. And although this video is low in quality, the message is powerful. It is of a dancing guy at a music festival. He is out in the middle of everyone, dancing like crazy by himself while everyone watches. Many people looking at him would think he looks weird or out of place dancing wildly by himself. Then something cool starts to happen. One person comes over and starts dancing with him. Others see this and start to trickle over to dance too. Now that there are about 5 people out there dancing, people start to flood the area quickly and dance too. A whole sea of people are now dancing together. This video's message was that it takes the first follower to show others how to lead by example. It helps encourage others to take that step and have an attitude geared more towards safety when they see someone being the first follower. Safety in the workplace isn't about being the leader who puts all the fancy protocols and procedures in place. Now it will play for me. It really is about being the first follower. The first followers are the true leaders because they start a ripple effect that causes change. There was a study done on safety in the workplace that I feel is a good example of why fostering a culture of safety is so important. In this study, they gave the nurses and physicians a questionnaire to fill out at the time that a new safety plan was implemented. Then they had them fill that same questionnaire out 2 and 4 years later. This questionnaire showed that the staff members had a better attitude about safety and the facility's policies that they had implemented. To correlate with that, the incidences of patient harm and major safety events had decreased significantly since the time that plan was implemented. This shows that when people have a better attitude about safety and are striving towards that being their common goal, the outcomes for the patient greatly improve. What I'd really like to leave you with today is the real reason the culture of safety in any workplace, but especially in healthcare, is so important. We are taking care of fellow humans. They are trusting us with their health and giving us the ability to help them. Every one of our patients means something to someone. They are a parent, a friend, a sibling, a coworker, a child. I had to share these photos right here because they are great representations of people I care about dearly. When I look at these photos, they remind me of why I do what I do, why it is so important to meticulously go over each step put in place to ensure my patient's safety. If it were any of them going into the care of our community's healthcare providers, I would expect the best for them as you would expect the best for your people. When patients step into our facilities, they are putting their trust in us to care for them as if they were one of our loved ones. We truly are given a great honor in healthcare to be trusted with the care of our patients. Now, we all have the opportunity to remember what we do our jobs for. We are in healthcare to help patients. They deserve our best work and utmost respect for their care. When we have a mentality that puts safety at the forefront of our care, we can all do better every day to create a working environment that fosters a culture of safety. Thanks, guys.